This is NerdFT Radio, where nerds full-time explorers of the metaverse, surfers of the blockchain, and not in our mom's basement. I'm your host, RSG, aka Cool Cat number 8717, and I'm here with Crypto Crier, aka the Hearthstone Maxi. He's returned, folks. But we have a very special guest. We have the founder, the artist, and the CEO of Cool Cats. Clon, how are you?
Doing well. Thank you for having me. GM.
Clon, I've been waiting for this shit for a very long time. I'm going to be honest with you.
This is wildly
episode
overdue.
158, all right?
Dude, you were like, when can we get you on? I was like, dude, anytime. We should have mentioned it sooner. I was like, dang, yeah. But happy to be here now. And there's a lot going on, so I feel like it came at a right time.
That's right. The perfect time. To the point, this is the really funny thing. I was talking to my buddy that also has a Cool Cat. I'm like, listen, I know Clon's a pretty big nerd just like me. Imagine if Clon had his own segment on NerdFT and we just throw it to him for 15 seconds. He just lets us know about the nerd stuff that he's doing. I think it'd be very good, a little good segment every other week or so. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's actually get into who you are for the people of Web 2 that might not know this. But obviously, me, I probably have shilled you and Cool Cats for a very long time on this podcast. But go ahead, Clon. Do your thing.
I've never heard of this.
You've never heard of this project, but Clon, do your thing.
Never heard of this. Yeah, so I always like to bring it a little bit further back because I like to explain pre-NFTs. But, whole life drawing characters, whatever. But in kind of 2013, I started drawing this cat character. Long story short, it ended up becoming this Instagram account called The Cattoonist, and that's where I really started to develop the character Blue Cat. Skipped a few more years. 2018, I stopped drawing it. I pursued my professional career in graphic design, then motion graphics. And it was because of the pandemic, some of my clients, because I was freelance, stopped messaging me because there was just less work to get done. Yeah. And that was when my buddy Evan, who I'd met in college and the other founder of Cool Cats, reached out to me and he was like, yo, have you heard of NFTs? Do you want to work on a NFT project together? And at the time it was a different project and we got rugged by our dev and then we were back at square one, eventually found two more devs who became the other founders of Cool Cats, Tom and Link. And we had to come to them with the project because they weren't willing to work on anything that we already had going on. But I looked at a poster on my wall. Blue Cat was there, already dressed up in a bunch of different outfits. And it was like, duh. So on July 1st, we started Cool Cats NFT, minted that day, sold out in 6 hours, and just the rest is history. And now I'm here.
Here we are. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Years later.
I know. Damn. It's crazy to actually say it's years later now because it's just flown by. And I think back to our exhibit in Cooltopia NYC, and I always think for sure that was like 2 years ago, when in reality it's only a year ago. It still blows my mind.
It's like a time paradox. You don't know which one's happened before the other one, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that was an awesome event. We could start right in there because that was a great event. We got to experience that one firsthand. And from a non-Cool Cat holder, this guy carried me around with his fancy badge. And I had a great time. We got some kids love the milk plushie and stuff like that too. So it was awesome for sure.
Yeah, it was a great debut of our first plushies, experiencing the world. And we opened it up for everyone. So you didn't have to be a holder to join. And I always say my favorite part about all of that was seeing all the people with the pink wristbands, which mean you weren't a holder. And a lot of those people had no idea what Cool Cats was. And just that alone, just seeing firsthand like how people are interacting with your brand is so cool.
For sure. We always compare that to like how Doodles was as South by Southwest too, because it was, you get to the same thing. Like he's telling us walking around, oh yeah, look at this, it's so cool, it's part of this thing. Then we were doing the same thing with Doodles. Like people are like walking in, what the actual what is this? I don't even know idea what this is.
Going back to the pink wristband thing and the new users, with Doodles, I'm so interested to see how their camp store is doing. And I think I read it's doing well, which is great to see. But I've gone to 2 camp activations now for research, actually. The first one was the one in LA. And it's the ESPN. It's like the Nike ESPN one. Okay, cool. That one was cool because it was like so direct with what you're supposed to be doing. You go from one room to the next. And then I took my niece to the one in Atlanta because I have a bunch of
That's
family that
Encanto
lives in
or
Atlanta. It was the Little Mermaid
Little
one,
Mermaid.
and that one was maybe either just not my cup of tea or it
Yeah.
was just interesting. So I'm like, it just didn't spark that like fun that a kid needs, but the Doodles one does because it's like rainbow and there's like things to run around and do. So overall, I just hope it's doing well because I'm all about experiences with your brand and whatnot, and that's what Cooltopia was for us. Cool to
Yeah, I
see new
definitely agree.
users. Actually.
We went to that one too. Fantastic job. My kids got to go. That was the first event my kids got to go to the NFT event or whatever because it had to open to the public or whatever for the actual day of the opening. And you're seeing all these people who have literally no idea what any of this does at all, and they're having a great time. I remember talking to a couple of dads. They're like, "Bro, how'd you get all these? These are cool, man. Do you remember what that is?" And I was like, "Oh, there's one really high up that you have to, as an adult, get." And I think they made it really cool where they force the parents to be not on their phones and I'm just here to.
Did they have any? I'm just curious because I wanted to go, but right now I have no reason to go to Chicago unless I go specifically for that.
Yeah.
Did they have like activities where like the workers there spun up an activity? Because that's what they did at the Little Mermaid one.
Yeah, they had. You could make the bracelets. You could make the like a antenna radio head or like a drawing thing. There was like a friendship bracelet thing, and there was like a couple other things that you could do, little arts and craftsy type things.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was definitely a good experience, and again, like comparatively to, I think Camp the Store in general. That was my first experience with the Camp Store. I think it was such a cool experience.
It's well done. It's really cool.
Because we were about an hour and a half from the Atlanta one, so we want to go try that one out. But they had like Encanto, and my daughter loves that one. So
go during the weekend. I went during the week because that was just when I was in town, and I was like one of 3 people there, and it's just so. And it's already a dark room. It's just eerie in there, and you're just like, I'm this adult, and they're like singing to like just me. And this is weird. But I have my niece, like we came with a kid.
Yeah,
it was good. Yeah, it was good. It was good. Didn't go to Chuck E. Cheese alone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I would go I would go in there. There's like other people there because it felt weird.
It gets the excitement going. Yeah, when we went, there was probably like, I don't know, 5 other families or 6 other families. So it was definitely very enjoyable. But yeah, I think that's a cool thing. And we've just talked with comparing these. We're talking about these specific projects now. We talked to Luca not too long ago, praising you, talking about we've got to see you take over as CEO, which is awesome.
He reached out to me the day of. This is how it should have always been. I'm like, honestly, dude, you're right. Because it's just being able to like really see everything that's going on, and there's not like another person making some decisions for you or ones that you wouldn't make is just a huge difference. It's been a huge blessing in disguise because and literally no hard feelings to Steven. We still talk actually, but I think he was just ready. Web3 is a different beast. And I think people coming in from Web2 don't always realize that until you're there. And you're like, realistically, community is something.
You're a pioneer on these things. These are the companies that are being built with these technologies are much different. Like it takes someone who is ingrained in it. Like you're coming from it. You're like, why do people want to talk to me all the time? What does it matter? It's constant nitpicking or whatever.
Well, it's like community. It's like, people don't quite understand community.
It's a double-edged sword.
Importance. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So.
I feel like for me personally, like at the beginning of, if it wasn't for Cool Cats, when I first got into NFTs, like I still remember I bought in on the second day. So after the mint, second day, it was the morning of. Not an OG to one day, all right? Which is one day, okay? Bought in, I think it was 0.025, if I'm not mistaken. And I just go into this Discord, and it's just nonstop. It's like a nonstop group chat. And it was like my first experience with something like that. Everyone talking, yourself, the founder, the artist, the devs, the community, other founders, other people, famous people, all this stuff going into it. And like you said, for someone that hasn't experienced that from like that said beginning, it's a lot to take in and your expectations of it are a lot different. So it's just pretty remarkable, or like more like not shocking, to be honest, because what are you going to expect from someone that just hasn't been there from the start or doesn't know how to
Yeah.
control that? It's a little hard for a lot of people to do that, but it's pretty incredible from that day to where we are now. Again, the major thing going on right now is that you guys are going to New York very soon for Thanksgiving, and you're going to have a massive balloon in the Thanksgiving Macy's parade. And that's just insane. You're literally like, when you think about Thanksgiving, you think about the parade.
The parade, just
So
Macy's, the brand. Yeah.
And you guys are going to be in it. And also, I just have to do a little side note for the One Piece people. Luffy also is going to be there. Just had to tell people that.
First time Luffy's going to be there too.
First time Luffy.
It's great because there's like a separate category we've realized that's like the existing Macy's balloons and then the new ones, and they like showcase the new ones differently. So we're right there with Luffy.
It's like, hey, listen, Jarvis, do whatever you can to be right next to Luffy.
RSG might have an aneurysm.
I will have an aneurysm or a stroke, either one, if that were to happen. But just to let you guys know that I officially caught up to One Piece. And today actually was the first time ever that I weekly watched an episode. And I don't know what to feel. But here we are. Who would have thought?
Empty,
but,
right? You're just
kind of like, a little empty.
Oh no, I have to wait.
Now I don't know what I'm gonna do with my free time. I guess I can go back to NFTs or something. But the one thing I did want to ask you on the sense of this overall experience that's about to happen, what are your thoughts of it? What are your expectations of what's about to happen? And like, it's pretty big, and I feel like not a lot of people in the space, like a good amount obviously know, but like right now with this sentiment of the overall space and the overall economy, the overall world, just people aren't taking into that. That's something that we talked with Luca, where all these projects, yourself, Doodles, Pudgy, all these projects doing so much, like, we need to hear it from you. What is this so much that's about to happen? So what are those expectations of Macy's for you?
Yeah, overall, absolutely insane that we're in this parade, being next to all these other famous characters that have existed for so many years. And just that validation alone is really good. But what's really key is that we're about to get exposure on one of the biggest stages a character could be on. And what we're really trying to get out of it is that exposure. And we have a lot of things lined up. RSG, you've already seen it. I cannot talk about it, unfortunately. But things like that. Yeah. But
he's always, I got an NDA, bro. I'm like, come on, man.
Sorry. No, trust me, I want to tell the world. But for people who can connect the dots, this is the little alpha I'll give. It's like I'm one step closer to achieving the dream I've always talked about. And that mixed with the Macy's balloon, there's going to be people like production companies and toy companies looking at this and being like, that's a new IP. They have an audience. They have all of this validation, and we're going to have partners finally have eyeballs on us in the Web 2 space. And so what's valuable about that is that there's a lot of Web 2 brands who are trying to get into Web 3, but saw a lot of the failures, and they're just taking it very lightly. And I said this on a different podcast, but bringing it back to Luca, was really important about Luca and the whole Walmart thing is that so many Web3 projects have tried going into retail and have failed. And because of that, a lot of the retailers are now scared of Web3 projects, like as a whole. So we're
sitting on hundreds of $1,000s of black hoodies, and it's just the
right. Yeah. And so exactly. and toys and stuff. And so it's crazy. But by successfully doing that, and hopefully I wish all the success to Pudgy and their toys, now gives retailers like a second view of Web3. It's okay, there are some out there, and let's go find those people. And so in a way, that's what we're trying to do with Macy's, but as like a character brand and like getting into entertainment more. That's our angle with all of this, as much as I'm just trying to tiptoe around what's actually happening. But with that, we have games along the way, mobile games, because we're not trying to be the next gaming company. We tried that, didn't work. It's not at all the focus for Cool Cats.
You need mobile gaming, $600 billion to.
You need a lot of money for gaming.
You need a lot of money.
Lot of money. They are like developers are not cheap, but being able to work with companies and licensing and coming up with a structure that benefits both parties makes it a lot cheaper. And so that's why these mobile games will be really important because it's tapping into a very specific audience in Web 2, the people we really think will engage with the brand more. And so those are coming at the tail end of Macy's. And so we're really trying to get a bunch of eyeballs on us, show them the mobile games, show them the entertainment side, the content, and have product along the way, but then have the Explorer NFT that kind of gets them closer into the ecosystem in the cheapest way possible so that they can take this empty Explorer and maybe buy some outfits for it in the avatar system, just getting them one step closer. Because avatar systems aren't new. It's something that's been done for decades, really, since the internet started. And it's something people can understand. And yeah, your party hat and Club Penguin, if that's what you're talking about.
And RuneScape, but yes, both.
Oh, dude, duh. Yeah, RuneScape.
Yeah, both. I had more stuff in Club Penguin than RuneScape, but
the RuneScape one's way more valuable and harder to get. Not anymore.
Well, they made it free for not free for everyone, but now you can go in every year when it's the birthday of RuneScape. You can actually go in and just buy them for 15,000 gold. It's pretty upsetting, but
that's very
upsetting.
That's very upsetting.
That's why we're not playing RuneScape anymore. Yeah, that's maybe why you need NFTs.
That's dude, for real. That's God. I would never.
It's not a first edition.
I've got to make sure you get a cosmetic early. That's never coming back. But that's what makes it so cool. And that's why really our shift with Cool Cats is going into the collector mindset, because we took a step back and really viewed of who's our audience. And I think we're made up of a bunch of collectors, whether it be art collectors or just collectors of brands, if that makes sense. I look at
behind you.
I'm just saying, honestly, with sidekicks is what we revamped Cool Pets to evolve into sidekicks, and sidekicks were meant to be collectible. It was one of the first times that we really doubled down on the idea of collectability and the fact that multiple people can own one thing that's exactly the same. In RSG, I think you were actually one of the people. You didn't even say anything. I was just thinking about everything you've collected, and I'm like, there's probably Funko Pops up there that other people own, but you don't care. You're still very happy to own that Funko Pop.
Yeah. Oh,
and so then I started thinking about Pokemon
Doctor
cards.
Strange on it.
I literally have you guys see the whole top? There's one wall that's just Doctor Strange, and there's one wall that's just Spider-Man and Deadpool. It's pretty aggressive, but yeah, keep going.
But see, that's like collectibles, and so I think we took a step back, saw it collectibles, and that's the audience we're going towards now. You asked me about Macy's, and it's
fungible, non-fungibles.
Well, listen, and like when you think about it, like what this little tangent that we went on to, it's this avatar aspect of it. And one of the things that you guys have lined up for it is just a few days ago, you guys literally just opened up your avatar system for everyone to go in, right? So for the individuals that don't know, again, you're going to be able to get this Explorer. You're going to be able to, later down the road, but right now, if you have your Cool Cat, if you have your Shadow Wolf, you're able to get these cosmetics, these items, and then place them on. I've actually been getting offers for all the monk ones, all the monk items right now. Everyone wants that right now. I got 3 people in my DMs, but I said, hell no, 2, but it's pretty remarkable. And again, for us as well, I know Crier, Big Doodle, as well as myself, we got a taste of that in the NFT side of things with Doodles too as well. Obviously, Crier on his side did not really like it because it was on Flow. We always talk about this, but he did not like that. Choice. So when I spoke to Crier here that you guys are going on Polygon, he's like, all right, there you go. This probably what Doodles should have done on that side for him. But it was really funny because the last conversation with Luca, Luca was like, pumping Doodles. I'm like, Crier, I did not think that this pudgy guy would tell you that Doodles is actually underrated and you're happy now. And he's, you know what? I didn't either. So it's just really cool to see you guys going into this space because that's what it is. When I think personally of NFTs, that was pretty much my introduction into crypto, into the blockchain. I had a friend growing up that in 2015 or 14 was on my couch at my house in like my parents' house telling me buy Bitcoin at $300 and buy ETH at like less than $5 or some shit. And we laughed in his face. The second time he ever came up to me and said, hey, Mateo, look into this was NFTs. And the reason that this is the reason why you're going to like it this time. You literally collect shit every single day.
There's a visual component.
Exactly.
That adds into it.
Let me look into it. I had 2 routes. One route, NBA Top Shot, the easy route. The second route, actually Ethan figuring out what the hell a MetaMask is. Your boy took the easy route, went to NBA Top Shot, and now I don't have a Bored Ape. But that's fine. We're here. We're here now with the podcast, the whole 9. But it's just remarkable when it comes to thinking about us 3 here growing up, playing all these video games, nerding out the whole 9. And when we think back to these games with these cosmetics and we think the opportunity of what NFTs can do for us here, is truly remarkable. The same story I always say is there was a game when I was growing up and it was called ESPN Sports Bar, and Facebook and ESPN literally shut it down because only I guess I was playing it and I lost hundreds of dollars because like they just shut it down and I wanted those items, all the really cool things. And what NFT, that component of it is like, what happens if a game shuts down? Another developer, another person can be like, yo, those items that you had in that game, bring them over here. Let's do something elsewhere. And it's just really cool, the opportunity that we have here. And of course, we all know when everyone like got Cyberpunk or when everyone gets, what were the other games, Starfield, you would spend like an hour or two just on the cosmetic aspect of your character.
Absolutely.
Now just put NFTs involved into this. So it's pretty remarkable.
It's crazy that CSGO is the only one doing it correctly.
Yeah.
And they were ahead of the game. This isn't a new thing for them. They've been doing it. But it's cool because
like Valve is always like crazy ahead of things. So
they really are. Yeah. Shout out Valve.
Doing the thing. Now we just need it. Listen, on the other side is, for me, it was Fortnite in college and getting all these skins and all this stuff. We talked about this, you and I, Clon, the other day, about like how that if you had that first account of that first season of Fortnite, the first ever one, you can literally go on eBay and that's people will buy those accounts because they want those because you can't get them ever again. So in a sense, you have that feel of what NFTs could be later down the road for these video games. So it's pretty remarkable. And by the way, I still play Fortnite, but only if there's a Marvel season or a Star Wars season. If they
you don't
ever
have to
put
defend
One Piece,
yourself.
We can put it there. But I have to defend myself with Crier because Crier doesn't play.
Is One Piece
Fortnite
not in there?
No. Why?
That's actually surprising to me. Yeah, they have every other anime except for that.
I agree. But
no,
yeah,
I actually
it's
think
pretty awesome.
I really think Fortnite is actually. I just have this like speculation that one day they're going to flip a switch, and so now you own everything. They already have all of these IPs in one thing, and I just think there's so much they can do with that. So, yeah, that's speculation.
I definitely agree.
And they're out of the ones of people who are allowing it. Epic Game Store is the only one that's even testing
tapping
NFTs.
into it. Anything like
Stars Atlas is the one that they're going to have a big push on their store and stuff like that, and that looks to be very heavy on the NFT side, where it's a lot of ownership of ships and the Eve style gameplay and stuff like that. I definitely think that whoever chooses to do it, it's going to absolutely murder.
When I think about Verse, I'm like, they're the closest to it out of everyone. They're the closest. Fortnite. Yeah.
When you think, that's literally what I was about to say, the Ready Player One aspect of it, where you see the Harley Quinn, you see the Marvel Deadpool, you see all Back to the Future car, you see all these things. That's what Optimus Fortnite is Prime. For a lot of people.
It's so weird how these IPs are meshing. Master Chief with Goku always blows my mind. I'm like, what?
Yeah. It's pretty nuts, but it's super awesome to see. And hopefully we just get a taste of that. And back to what you guys were saying on the sense of like the opportunity that Macy's has for you guys is to showcase this IP and then maybe get into some cameos on the sense of a video game or cameos in the sense of a show, a movie, etc. Because that IP, which I believe is the best IP in the space. Crier? He's a pudgy. He's a pudgy, right, so that's why he said that. Yeah, but again, I truly believe, like you said, this is an opportunity for the world to see it, for companies to see it, and the next step is that literally that step to go into other things. And like you said before, you guys don't want to be that gaming company. You tried it, not your cup of tea, and the opportunity here is
look at Yuga
those
right
companies. Oh yeah, Yuga, dude. By the way, all these Yuga games are ass right now. Crier,
their games are bad. This is bad. How many people that actually are apes are like pretty upset? They're like,
oh, it's
you
hey,
you made us play this game for 6 months. That's terrible. and you're giving me $8,000 as like the top prize of the person who probably spent 20
Hundreds.
grand.
Yeah,
easy.
probably more.
Like to get.
But here's the thing, though. Goner went out and tweeted that everyone's gonna get laid at the ape fest, so it's all good. All the apes are gonna be happy, and they're gonna be okay. So listen,
Even the
it is what
married
it is.
ones.
Even the married ones are all gonna get laid. They're
They're gonna
good.
find someone. Yeah.
Yep.
Another ape holder.
Another ape holder.
90% men.
What was the other thing I did want to mention was from an outside, like you now viewing Cool Cats in this new role of CEO, and you also are looking at all these other projects. What's your overall take on in this space right now? Again, a lot of great companies still building, still doing their thing, but obviously a lot of those projects that we also invested in, we spent a boatload of gas, all these things, they're not really here anymore also. So what's your overall take on the space from this new seat that you're at with Cool Cats?
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin with the space because it's definitely evolved and changed. But in a weird way, I've been more optimistic about the space through the bear than ever before because it's weeding out the people who were really never in it for the long run.
Reason. Yep.
Yeah, and that goes all the way from founders to like community, like everybody in between. And so I think one critique that I have is you got to have your premium NFTs, but I firmly believe that you got to have your cheaper NFTs. You got to have your ones that are entry level because not everyone has the money to spend on it. So you have to keep your premium ones premium, which with avatar system, like the hat, face, and shirt trait of your cool cat, like you can't trade those because that is tied to your OG. And obviously that's a membership NFT rather than cosmetic. But anyways, what I'm trying to get at is Pokemon has been healthy for me because you see people spending $10 for a pack of Pokemon cards and they freak out if they get one that's worth $3. And I'm like, that explains like probably like 80% of people that could invest in something like that. They don't have hundreds to thousands of dollars to invest in things like this. And so if we really want the space to grow, we have to start thinking that way, in my opinion. You almost have to think both. Like you have to think the exclusives and the entry level.
How do you
and
support
so that's why, both, the people who just got their paycheck and the most they can spend on something is $20. Like those people, because there's a lot of them out there. And that's what all successful gaming companies do. They're not asking people pay $60 for a game. And if it's not the greatest experience ever, they're pissed off. So imagine being like, here's $1,000 for a game. It's not even really
you can't play it for 2 years.
Can't play it until 2028,
2030.
And like, some of us spent millions. Like that's what baffles me. And so I'm like, do you really think people are going to enter that? And I think everyone has their plan, but for us, it's the explorers, and that gives you essentially no utility, but allows you to do like the entry level stuff without any benefits. But that's how you do it. That's how you get people in the first place.
Absolutely. We're definitely seeing that on the sense of with Pudgy Penguin, right? Where you're able to buy the actual penguin, you get the cosmetics behind it, and you're able to, you can do two things. Obviously, you can put the cosmetics on, or vice versa. You can actually sell those things on OpenSea and everything like that on your guys' sense. Same exact thing. We just had the Halloween pack where you were able to open it up. You're able to slap them on, or again, I've also had trade offers for those as well, so that you can sell them, do all these really awesome things. And now on the third side of it, Doodles 2, we saw the same exact thing with the Pharrell drop. We saw it with the Genesis box that I spent way too much money on. And I sold brown shoes I did sell brown shoes for $500. So I'm going to take my one win in the last 6 months as a very nice win on that side. But you're absolutely correct on the sense of a lot of people. I always go back to what happened with Gutter, where everyone says like they diluted, they did this, they did that. But truly for me personally, like you said, the sentiment is you need to have NFTs. You can't just have the 3,000 community members and that's it, the 10,000 community members and that's it, the 6,000 community members and that's it. You need to have these entry points so that other people can get involved in it. Marvel doesn't only have 7,000 fans and that's it. They have millions upon millions because they can buy, like you said before, the Funko up here that hundreds of thousands of people have, the comic book, the outfit, the Captain America shield, whatever it is. You're able to have something that someone else also has, but there is a special corner for the one of one, which is that one of one comic or that one of one signed poster, etc. I definitely agree on the sense of you need to have these entry level NFTs to get those people engaged so that they can later down the road, they can spend that money and get that one thing that they've been growing up their whole lives to try to go ahead and get. For me personally, how I've seen it is when I was a little kid, there was all these incredible Marvel things that I always wanted, but I never got. And now, as you can see, I fucking have it now. I have it. Yeah. And it's because you're not a kid anymore. You have the money. Imagine giving a nerd a bunch of money. And that's what happened with me. And now I have all the nerd stuff I need. I have no idea how I have a girlfriend or all, but yeah, here we are.
You got to make them into a nerd. That's find the common ground that you can nerd out together.
You ready for this, guys? You ready for this? Carolina is on episode 104 of One Piece right now.
Let's go.
She enjoyed.
I got Jessica into.
Yeah, she
Diablo.
loved the live.
She played. Put her Lady Starfrog is her character name.
I did not know that. I thought you were going to say that she watched One Piece, but she did. And
we used to play it before kids. Like we actually had time.
So. Oh yeah, I don't have kids, so I can still have time. That's probably what's
to watch
right now.
1,100 episodes.
First off, 1,080 episodes. Thank you very much.
Step one of being a top-notch nerd: don't have kids.
Yeah, you just don't have kids.
My game's way down.
Yeah, my games are way down. My collectibles down.
down. Exactly. It was really funny. I had this conversation with my buddy yesterday. He's like, Mateo, like you're just lucky because you don't have kids, and the type of job that you have is work from home and stuff like that. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he had this whole entire he was explaining the work-life balance with his kids and everything. He's like, Mateo, I literally have 1 hour a day to do whatever the hell I want. You have 12. Why do you think you caught up to One Piece so fast? But it was just really funny on that sense. But other than that, Clon, what for you outside of the Macy's Day Parade is like that next big thing for you guys that you're super excited about in the near future? Is it the mobile games? Is it something else? What is it for you guys?
It's definitely the mobile games and what comes with Macy, like for sure. But there's more. There is a lot more. And I think it sucks because I think if we did this 2 weeks from now, I'd be able to talk about it a little bit more. But we're definitely expanding into Asia a lot more. And we're like, I was about to say doubling down, but yeah, we're really focused on getting our IP out there because I just think character brands do so well in Asian markets. People really relate to characters. There's a lot of merchandise you can form around characters. There's a lot of content. But it's different than what people consume in America. And so really we're just making sure that like both of our routes are covered of being in America and in Asia. Because I think it just makes sense. And I think there's going to be like a slightly different version of Blue Cat. They'll probably be more like chibi, like really fits into the cute of what like Japan really loves. And just, I think that's like what you'll be seeing a lot of in 2024 are a lot of things around that. So
we're going over the pond. Okay. That makes sense. We're going over the pond and then some. Okay.
Yeah. I'm very excited for it, but yeah.
The other thing we always do, and I have to ask you, and like I said before at the beginning of this podcast, is I've been waiting for this episode because all I want to do right now is nerd out. And the first question before we nerd out, it's always the same one. In an ideal world, if your favorite game growing up that you have hours upon days of playtime on came into the NFT space and dropped a token, and based on the amount of hours and gameplay and everything that you played when you were younger, what would be that one game that you literally would probably be a multimillionaire just because of their airdrop? What is that one game?
Super Smash Brothers Melee.
Like it.
That's the one damn game I'm so bad at, and it pisses me off, Clon. I literally play every video game known to man, almost every game. And the one game that I get smacked on is Super like I just can't do
I'm
it.
like in the casual sense, I'm a professional, but in the professional gaming area, I'm entry
Very
level because there's literally just like a step up.
massive.
Yeah,
Massive.
and there's people doing all these things.
They
They're just
actually use
flying
the
in the
block
air.
button, and
I can do that. I know how to do that. I know how to roll.
all
I know how to
right.
do some of the
There you
tilts.
go.
Yeah.
Here we go. What's your main?
Oh yeah, we gotta ask that.
Ganondorf.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Ooh, Crier, what
Yeah.
character would you use? in
I was
Super
actually a big
Smash?
Captain Falcon guy, so we're like we're like the same
Ooh.
essentially.
Yeah.
A slower. That's the
Yeah.
same move set essentially. So.
All of them. Yeah. Except for I have one kick you don't have. That's
Yeah.
where he like puts his
What?
leg in the air and he like charges it, and it's almost impossible to hit. You never go for it, but if you do, it's almost like an immediate
Insta-kill.
KO. Yeah.
I would
I'm
say
trying to
that,
think
and
what the
then
hell-
I actually like Bowser Jr. a lot when they added Bowser Jr. The later
Yeah.
one, but
Yeah, and the newer ones I literally every time you play me on the new ones, we always play 3 rounds. I start off as Mario. That's my warm-up character because he's just very quick. He's very all around, like all over the place. And then I go Lucina, who she's like a Fire Emblem character, and
Yep.
she's very accurate and things and very quick. And then I go to Ganondorf, and that's when I feel like I'm taking off the training
over.
weights. Yeah, and it's just game over. I rarely lose against my friends, and it's the one game I get very cocky in because it's just fun. And I talk so much smack.
it was a good game to talk Schmidt in for sure.
Yeah.
It was
But
the worst game. I'd lose every time. I disagree with both of you right now.
We gotta play RSG. And
I would get
He
smacked.
gets
I think
so angry.
I don't even
guarantee
remember.
it.
Oh, I get so pissed playing video games. It's ridiculous. I literally started playing Mario Wonder, and I am dog water
No.
right now.
Yeah,
I am dog water. It's ridiculous. For me now, it's so wild how hard it is when I go all out on Xbox and then switch over to Switch.
Oh my. How does
Controls.
just alone the A and B button?
Yeah, it just pisses me off, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"What's going
Yeah.
on?" I do some dumb shit, and for me, I like to perfect it. I have to get the 3 seeds. I have to get the 3 purple coins, everything like that. I could finish the level, but I have to get everything in the level, and I've been having the worst time. It's fun. It's awesome.
I know what you
it's
mean.
Beautiful game, but I'm down bad.
Yeah. Yeah. But if there was a series, if you're talking about video game series, Legend of Zelda, I think would. The problem is like you can only put so many hours into that, so that's why I didn't choose it for my token drop because there's even moments in Super Smash where the menu is just playing. So
That's very
I'm
true.
just cashing
Yeah,
in.
you're milking in.
You're
You're milking
milking it.
those
You're milking
numbers.
it. What was it? What was that character that you had to have? It was on the GameCube. It was Super Smash, and you had to have the game on for 24 hours, and then you got it.
Mewtwo.
It was Mewtwo, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So there, I do remember
Dude.
that, but
What a
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, you
Yeah,
literally
right?
just turned it on before you went to school and then
You
left the screen off and
They
just
definitely
hoped
did.
it didn't
hope
crash.
that it was good. Hope that your mom or dad walked by and what the hell is this?
Wasn't
going
doing
on?
yoga,
Click.
making the disc skip.
Yeah. Oh my god. And then you had to make it through the
Weird
night because it had to be 24 hours, and you're just
Yeah.
like, please, like I made it this far. I'm still playing the game. The game's on. Oh my gosh.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
that one's tough.
They did a great unlock character system on that for sure. Like it's always.
Oh my
that
god.
always
See,
they do
that's
those.
that's another thing games in general are missing now is being able to just play to earn. There's too many like
Like
I
achievement
definitely
side.
fall victim to cosmetics. It's
That's one thing I never cared about. Like I don't give a shit about it. Like everyone's like, oh, I got this Fortnite skin. I'm like,
unfortunately
Sick.
I do.
Yeah, me too. I have my Doctor Strange one. Not only
that's
the
fine,
excuse me,
but
the
I just
Doctor
don't.
Doom
Yeah,
one.
that's
That's
I mean,
white
that's the
Doctor
better way
Doom.
to be.
I'm like, you're just weird. Even though he says that, but he spends like 2 hours creating his
No, I
character.
definitely
in
don't. I hit
Starfield, so
random.
he's
I
he's
hit
wild.
random.
He does hit.
Yeah.
It's actually wild.
I
He
do click
actually
at random
does.
70
Ridiculous.
times and just see which one.
Until you get a good
Yeah.
one. At least you
Yeah.
do a
Yep.
little bit. You care a little bit, just not a lot.
Yeah.
No, that's the way
The
to
other
be, especially
thing-
free to play games.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you really don't need to spend any money to play it and have the same exact experience as everyone
exactly.
else.
That's all, yeah. I don't,
That's me and Marvel
I'm
Snap,
too
but I still
frugal.
spend
I'm
$10.
I'm
every
like
month.
such
Yeah.
a stingy person.
No, you're
I mean,
not.
Archie
Get
asks
out
me
of
for
here.
$20 every week.
Listen, it's a running joke that whenever he gets a really good call in crypto, he makes a boatload of money. I'm like, hey, you just made a boatload of money. Can I have $20? And he just to this day hasn't sent me $20. So maybe one day.
Yeah,
Wow.
they say the information's always worth more than $20. Just
Ooh.
practice.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yep. He's not wrong. He's definitely not wrong. If I would have listened to him multiple times, I don't know. I would maybe be in
You
Japan
wouldn't
right
be
now.
so
or-
negative all the time.
I'm not
The
negative.
bear
First off,
market.
I'm one of the most positive people.
Yeah.
But for me on my end, I would say it was probably, I always like to say this, it's RuneScape, and I have to involve
Ooh,
RuneScape at
yeah.
one
No
point.
way.
But number 2, it would be Call of Duty 4. Call of Duty 4 was like
Ooh.
my shit, and I can't wait for
Did
this new
sink
Call
a
of Duty.
lot of hours into that, and
I
Modern
think I
Warfare
had, like,
too.
I think
The same route that you guys were talking about, you had to leave it on, you had a bunch of extra hours. I left. That was like a college. I was in college at the time when it was out, and my roommate we were in like a college dorm, but he didn't go to school, so he just sold weed and played
Yeah.
my Xbox for like.
And you always
days.
question those kind of guys. You're like, how are you making it all work?
Yeah, but it was just so funny. I'd be like, bro, I get home. What level are we now?
He's like,
Thanks, bro.
Thanks,
I
sir.
got you.
Are we Prestige 3 yet?
Yeah, I was like Prestige like 12, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I've literally never. I probably played like 30 levels.
Oh,
Yeah. What skins do
pretty
we have? What golden guns?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Call of Duty 4 I had over 40 to 50 days, and I think Modern
Wow.
Warfare 2 I think also. It was bad. Like, I
Yeah,
played that
that's a lot.
shit. Dude,
much.
those Call of Duties. Listen, when I was a little bit younger, I didn't know what alcohol was. I didn't know what going out. I didn't know what girls were. What do you think I was gonna do? I was gonna play video games. What else? But no, that's pretty awesome. The other thing I want to ask right now, Clon, for you is, what games are you playing right now? What shows are you watching? What's like the overall like nerd vibe going on right now? Because I know myself, it's Loki right now. Obviously, One Piece, and just this new Mario game in Marvel Snap. But for you, what are those games that you're playing right now?
So I don't watch a lot of TV, and when I do, it is garbage TV. Because it's so late in the day that I just turn off my brain, and I'm not really watching it, and I'm actually usually playing video games on my phone while I watch it. So it really centers around video games. Yeah, I've been playing, but that's not the prime. That's like my mobile game, Teamfight Tactics of League of Legends.
Okay.
But I do play a lot of video games. I'd say just in general, I think I've fallen back on multiplayer games being my favorite just because of the social aspect. You can jump into one game and then leave. So League of Legends and Overwatch have been the two I bounce between. But I played a lot of Baldur's Gate when that came out, like a lot of Baldur's Gate. That was so much fun.
It yet, but I haven't.
If you're into those kind of games, like
This man
that
says
is a
he's
game
stingy.
where
He's
that's Baldur's Gate is one of those games where I tell people, I'm like, it is game of the year this year. It's my favorite game ever. It beat Zelda as my favorite game of the year, which is like saying
Very
a
hard.
lot.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's not everybody's cup of tea. It's like a very slower paced game that's all about dialogue, and you feel like you're playing D&D, which is why I love it. But I've never seen a game like it. I've never seen so much care put into a video game in like a long time. Obviously there's plenty. Yeah, it's like you think about Skyrim, and that was 10 years ago, over 10 years ago. Like that was a game that had a lot of care into
That
it and
was such a
stuff.
good
But
game.
You play
Yeah.
Starfield at all?
I haven't, and that was because Baldur's Gate came out, and I was just like way too into it.
That's
And
the only thing
I
I've
guess
been playing. It's nuts.
I've also realized recently I'm not too much of a sci-fi kind of guy. I watched Star Wars over again, and I'm like, I like Star Wars. I don't love it.
I'm with
something
you.
about
RC did me shit.
I'm a fantasy guy.
I'm
Lord of the Rings over Star Wars.
I never
Don't get me wrong.
got into Lord of the
like
Rings
books and stuff, or it's not really around. No.
Unfortunately, I'm so dyslexic.
That's
I hate
where I
reading.
am. I'm like a monster fantasy book.
Oh, he
But-
loves it.
Mangas, I will, and any kind of graphic novel. And actually, speaking of One Piece, dude, I don't want to watch it yet. I don't want to take the plunge because I want to do the mangas first.
Okay.
It's because
money.
One Piece is all about
It's so
the
good.
artist who created it. It's his world, and you're just living in it. I want to read the mangas first because I feel like that's the true way to get the artist's feel. So I bought the first multiple volumes, like the box from Amazon, and it never came. So I had to make sure I got refunded and then buy them again. Because that's what I actually want to do when I go to bed instead of watching TV or playing video games. Like, I'd rather open up a manga and start reading it. So, yeah,
That's what I'm gonna have to do now since I'm now done with my show. So
gotta do it again.
Yeah.
I have to read. now.
yeah.
I'm
But
screwed.
I've been playing some Pokemon too. Now that I think about it, I actually have a DSi, and I have an original copy of Pokemon Platinum, and I've been trying to do the Nuzlocke
Nice.
challenge, where if your Pokemon dies, it's dead, and then you have to catch the first Pokemon in every route.
Yep.
That's the only one you get a chance. So I'm
Yep.
trying to do that pretty far. Right now, I have a Torterra and a Luxray, and those are like my two. Those are my two right now.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Sounds
I
like
actually
a challenge for sure. I don't know
it's actually a lot of who's the person
Really
that always told
hard.
me to do that? It was Carolina, my girlfriend's brother. He's a massive One Piece fan, but also a massive Pokemon fan, and he was doing the same thing you were doing, and he was explaining it to me, and I'd always text him like, "Hey, how's it going? What'd you get?" And he'd always update me.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't personally do it because no, but like seeing it through someone else, or like maybe even if someone were to stream it, I'm checking it in. Like I
Yeah,
want
it's
to
a
see
good
what's
stream
going
one.
on. It's actually pretty cool on that sense.
And you're technically supposed to play it randomized. That's the better way to play it,
What do you mean?
because and you have to play as an emulator. But how I'm playing it is just I'm playing like the real copy of the game.
Yeah.
The first three Pokemon I get to choose from are the three original starters
Yep.
to that game. But how most people play it is you do a randomizer. So the first three Pokemon you get are all
Completely
random.
random.
Now you could have an Articuno, you could have a Diglett, you could have whatever, you could have still a Bulbasaur in there, but like it becomes this mind game of like how fast do they level up, what moves do they get, all of that, and so it becomes really fun. And so when you walk into the bushes, you're facing random Pokemon all the time instead of hitting Pidgey like over and over and over
in
again.
the same
1,000
area.
pitches.
Yeah.
You're actually, it's like a bit of a challenge. Like, oh, this one is like a fire type. This one's a grass type. And so you're also challenged as you're playing.
Are they
Up
lower
against-
level Pokemon though? Or
Yeah.
are they
Lower
it's
level
still
Pokemon.
like as
Yeah.
you
It's
go, it's
randomized.
higher. Okay.
It's still
Yeah.
same level, just not that one.
Exactly.
area.
So you could hit a
that definitely makes
legendary
sense.
and it
Damn.
gets scary.
Yeah,
Walk
I
through
can
grass
only
and
imagine.
Oh
just
no,
get a-
but it's like level
get a
5
Gyarados.
at the beginning.
Yeah, it's 5, so you're like, all right, let's
Yeah.
try to grab this guy really quick. But I know that you did say that you don't watch much TV, but if you had to pick your favorite show of all time or movie, I
Oh,
gotta know. I have to ask.
I'll answer TV and movie. TV, Avatar: The Last Airbender, without a doubt. That is what I
Great
achieve.
answer.
That's it to me of like a cartoon. It's a Western cartoon. It's amazing. Now, movie, it's crazy that this is like a new movie that it's got to be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. But
That
actually,
was good.
the second
The first
one,
or second? The second one.
second one.
was pretty
I when someone told me, they're like, "Yeah, the first one's good. The second one's way better." I'm like, yeah, like no
Bullshit.
shit. Like bullshit. The first one was so good. How do you
Dude,
follow
the first
that
one
up?
was
And then
so
you're like,
good.
they did like a whole like equivalent to Up, where it gets so emotional
Yep.
right at the beginning. It's right at the beginning. They just used color to make you feel a certain way, and you're just like, what is going on? This is crazy. And then the way it ends, oh my god! So
And just
everything,
like the villain in that one is incredible. Like he was such
Yeah.
a cool
Oh, everything was sensational. I actually have a theory about the next one and what they're gonna do. I gotta say it really quick. So in every single Spider-Man, like the dad, like what they're trying to go into is the dad's gonna die, right? Like for
Yep.
Miles.
Yeah.
And there's no spoilers here because this movie's been out for a while. So if
Spoiler
anyone hasn't watched
Yeah,
it,
but spoiler alert, in case you're
Spoiler
you
alert,
played
He's
the
already
game.
spoiled
like,
it, but he's now
come
new
on.
to this.
Actually, it
been
hasn't
laughing.
happened yet. But
Yeah.
what I think they're gonna do is like what they did for another spoiler here. What they did for No Way Home with the 3 Spider-Man, like the last Spider-Man, like the live action, where Aunt May died. I think they're gonna try to kill Miles's mom, and it's gonna be a curveball, and I'm gonna lose my mind if that shit happens. So they're gonna just reverse
Dude.
us and go into her dying and the dad surviving, and no one's ever seen it like that. And I'm going to have a brain aneurysm or a stroke. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm
Dude.
just gonna be like,
So-
boning.
Setting up for a lot of strokes and
The reason I think you're
Yeah.
onto something is because of how much they showed the
Connection
mom in
was,
the second
yeah.
one. Like you
Yeah,
really
yeah.
you start
You
to
get
get
a
connected
bunch.
more and more to the
Yep.
mom, and you're like,
Yep.
oh wow, like she's about to be the person that he tells I'm Spider-Man, and so it's
Yes, sir.
oh my god.
And I think they're
Oh.
gonna just rip our emotional cords out of our bodies, and we're just gonna be left with
Yeah. because he wasn't supposed to be Spider-Man. So everything's got to be a little bit different.
Exactly.
But that scene was so good. So funny
the
enough,
whole movie.
I had to watch it the first time on a flight because I didn't get to see it in the movie theater. Yeah, I know it's the worst way possible to watch it, but I was like, I'm going to watch it again for just the visuals. This time I took it in just for the story. But so I was watching it, and it's that last scene, and Miles is like talking to his mom, and she doesn't know who Spider-Man is. And then the door starts opening, like that shot. And then the pilot comes on over the intercoms, like, "Hey, we're about to touch down," and blah, 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 and kept going. And I'm just sitting there on the edge of my seat being like, who the fuck is about to be like on the other side of that door? And then I didn't expect it to be his uncle. I was like, I feel like I could have seen that coming, but I didn't see it coming. And then you're just like, oh my God, he's not even in the same. All of that was so good. And yeah, the villain. You're talking about the villain. The villain was good too. At first, you're like, who the fuck is this?
Who the fuck is this guy?
Wow, this guy's going to be really powerful.
He crushed it. They did a really good job. The voice actor, phenomenal. Just the overall.
I always like the funnier aspect ones. Like he's
same.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it just, in general, talking about characters, it sucks when villains are so one note. Yeah. It helps when you get their vulnerable sides or their their funny.
Just another guy that got like messed. Like it happened to him. It's
and
not
he
like
has his
literally random dude.
Yeah,
they do a really good job with the Spider-Verse. How it's what I absolutely love about Marvel. They'll do something, and then 10 years later, it just comes up out of nowhere. That's how I was sold on One Piece, where I'm going to see someone episode 6, and I'm not going to see them until 684. And I'm like, for a lot of people, that's, I don't know if I want that. But for me, I'm like, yo, that's dope as hell. That is so sick.
Callbacks.
Like, just little things, little callback or whatnot. Like, I absolutely love it. And the way that Spider-Verse did it from 1 to 2 was very good. That was a really good movie, man. I left that movie theater. I was destroyed.
Yeah.
But also, I'm very emotional when it comes to movies. Like when in Endgame, when they showed up in the portals, I literally was bawling my eyes out, and there's nothing to cry about. I was just bawling my eyes out for no apparent reason. So, again, I'm more on the emotional side when it comes to.
No, I know, but it's when you care. If they've been able to achieve that emotional value, is so important.
It's
But Spider-Man's probably my favorite superhero, just because I think they do the coolest stuff with Spider-Man. And
Go ahead.
No, going on.
Crier, can you get? Oh, actually, no. Crier knows this. Clon, what is my favorite Marvel superhero?
Is it Doctor Strange?
Damn, he got it. Shit. All right,
we already said it like twice.
I know.
That's why. I literally would not have guessed. Yeah. Is it Red Sox? No.
I know. But yes, Doctor Strange. But go ahead. What were you saying?
No, what I love about Spider-Man, as many people do, I just love that he's a kid in New York. But what I love most is that his superpowers are heightened because he's in New York. I just love that aspect of it that I feel like not many superheroes get, or it has to do with some other planet or whatever. There's just something very human about that when I forget which Spider-Man it was, but when he goes into the middle of the woods or way away from New York, and you realize like he doesn't really have many powers. And I just love that concept that he is tied to New York City. And he's
tied to an environment. Yeah. Like he's
That's why a lot of people actually, it was the second movie, when they went to Washington, D.C., they're like, where the hell are these webs? Like, where is he shooting these webs? Like, how is he swinging? There's no way.
Just the sky.
Helicopter? What are you hitting here?
It's like the video game version.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that.
You're like, what's going on? But it's actually, again, Spider-Man is just a phenomenal character. And again, that's what happened with Stan Lee. He wanted to create a character that someone like a teenager can just see, and they put on a mask and they figure Spider-Cat.
Spider-Cat.
Come on.
I'm actually surprised I've never done Spider-Cat. I did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles way back when, because those are also characters I love. I love characters and a lot of
I haven't seen the new movie
yet. I need to see it. Yeah.
I do too.
But in general, I love characters that you can take like just aspects of them and just keep reinventing them. It's like Spider-Man shoots webs, has the suit, like it's really like the eyes, like the skin tight suit with the eyes, and that's what defines Spider-Man. But it can be any color range or whatever. And same thing with the Ninja Turtles. It's like they're green and they have these 4 colors, and like from there you can do anything with it. And so for me, it's a blue cat, and what can you do with that?
Exactly. No, absolutely. Clon, It was an absolute pleasure for you to be on this podcast.
For you.
I know, for us to be on this podcast. Sorry, but again, I've been waiting for a long time, so I was very excited.
Yeah.
Again, obviously on the nerd side, like when we find individuals in the space and we bring on these founders, we have that same background, like growing up as these said nerds and the experiences from the shows, the movies, the games. And that's what's unbelievable about this space, is finding individuals that literally grew up in some way, somehow, that same era of things, of pop culture and all this stuff. So it's awesome to have you on to talk about it. Would love to have you on later down the road as well, with all these incredible things going on with Cool Cats. You want your own segment
Macy's.
for 15 seconds, you let me know. Yeah. Just shoot it over to you. What do you think about this? And you say one word. We're good. I'm happy with that. But again, it was awesome to have you on.
Good.
Yeah. One thing I did want to say for all the nerds, and I got to close it out here, is that you got to watch Loki, because episode 4 is about to happen. And episode 4 is the one.
6?
It's going to be, I think, 6 episodes. But episode 4 is the one that all the people that got to see the whole show, pretty much, they're saying episode 4 is like the episode you want to see, and shit's about to go down. And I really think they're lining up everything perfect to introduce 2 groups of people that we've been waiting for a long time to come into the MCU. So I'm very happy on that side. But besides that, Clon, thank you so much for stopping by. It was a pleasure. Good luck with Macy's. Good luck with everything that's going on. You did say that Lord of the Rings was better than Star Wars, so I don't know how I feel about that. But outside of that, thank you so much.
All right. And look, it's not that Star Wars. I never said Star Wars was bad.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I still love it. I still like it.
You're going to get a quote tomorrow that says Clon hates Star Wars.
Hates Star Wars.
Page.
Yeah,
it's gonna be me. It's gonna be for my burner account. It's gonna be White.
It's like
Sox
the Mandalorian.
guy.
I'm like, I can't watch
White
this
Sox.
shit.
All right, first off, this guy's Clon. Tell me you've seen Mandalorian. This dude is the one person that does not like Mandalorian. It's wild to me.
I've never seen it.
All right, so
not worth it.
So it's the longer, so I get ripped on this for all the time, but the longer you know me, the more you realize I haven't seen it. Like that's my line.
That's just a lot. I haven't seen it.
I have not seen
I
that.
haven't seen it. But video games, I've either heard of it or played
all
it.
of it.
So,
Yeah.
all of it.
The whole night.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, one last question before we go. What's the upcoming game that you're most excited about right now? Because for me, it's Call of Duty. For Crier, what are you waiting on, Crier, right now before Clon goes?
Oh,
Nothing
yeah,
really?
you go.
Nothing.
Go ahead, Clon.
Nothing. So the problem is it's not out yet. I have no idea when it's coming out. But Hollow Knight Silk Song is probably the game.
Sick. I love Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight's incredible.
Yeah, I got to play it at E3 in 2019. I got to play Silk Song, and nobody has heard of anything about that game since E3 that year. And so I'm just sitting here. It's been like 4 years. Like, when? Yeah, it was. And all I can tell people, it was amazing. If you like Hollow Knight, this is a similar thing to Spider-Man. It is a better version of Hollow Knight. So I love that game because one day I aspired to be the artist on a game like that, where it's just full illustration. It's all side scrolling, so it's very 2D. I love that game.
That's a super good game.
I will say I have the game, like the first one.
I got him to get it down for free. And he never
I downloaded it. I haven't played it. Like, I just have
It's super good.
It's a good one. It's a good one. It's like an easier version of Dark Souls, but along the same lines, where you're collecting souls, but differently. And then if you die, you lose them all, unless you can get it back. So it's fun, though. It's a lot of bosses. It's a lot of backtracking and going around and figuring out how to get to the next thing. So
yeah, you always have to upgrade your equipment to be able to get to the area you've already been before. It's cool.
Yeah.
They did a really
all
good job
about upgrading. Love it.
Sure.
So now you get to play it.
I was most excited about Diablo 4 this year, and I absolutely fucking hate that game. They did such a bad job.
Wait, I thought you liked it, Crier.
Comparatively to like D2 and D3, like I played. The story was great, but that's not Diablo is grinding like all the gear and having fun. Once you hit level 60, there's no point to play anymore because you already have the gear set. And I'm like, dude, how on earth could you ruin this? Like, all you had to do was copy the items from D2 and reskin it. They already did that, and that's a better game. And it was super sad.
Did you play World of Warcraft?
I did, yeah. Not a ton, but I definitely played. Diablo was my shit for sure.
Okay.
I played during Pandaria or something like that later. I was a big, but I was like a mega PvP. I didn't do a lot of the
Oh,
PvE
fair
stuff.
enough.
I just played like arena.
Yeah.
I played a ton of arena. I love that. That was fun.
It was. Oh my God.
was great.
Awesome. Crier, I'm going to leave this to you. I want you to close out this show because the last thing I'm going to say is we like the cats. That's all I'm going to say. While you close it, I'm going to just grab this. No, do whatever you'd like. Go ahead.
Grab a brick and put it on a wall. I'm RSG. I don't have any cats. What is this shit?
Come on, close it out, Crier. Do something.
We like the penguins, guys.
No, come on, close it out. We like the cats. Come on.
You guys are both hitting that. There we go.
Come on. But for everyone listening, thank you guys so much.
Cats are all right. I'll give them that.
To NerdFT Radio. We'll catch you guys next week with another episode. Grab a brick, throw it at a wall, and come back and listen to some more. That's all I got. Can't close it out. 158 episodes in. Peace out.
Later.